right, mic check. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. It is round 2 SRL, the 2023 season, as we get into the Australian GP, Albert Park in Melbourne. After a big weekend last weekend, which saw yet another win for Simon Mara, 5 for 5, 5 starts, 5 wins. Logan Oren, Alexei Koivuniemi finishing out the podium. Freya Balai just outside. Big news coming into round 2 is Jensen Randall will be on the grid. And we've already got one driver going out. Jensen Randall, of course, a multiple-time champion. And you see there on the grid, he'll be in the Aston Martin, teammates with Alexei Koivuniemi, so a strong team for Aston Martin. Jensen, one of the first out there already. Christian Dorman out with injury. Nicolo Falzaresi believed he might try to be able to drive today with controller. Unable. And you'll see our drivers working their way around a high-speed track here. Jensen getting into the portion of the track where the tires are really going to be screaming. And into the tricky turn of turn 15. Well, flying lap completed for Jensen Randall. Quite a bit of traffic behind him. Everyone trying to get a banker in early. Here we go. Carries speed well through turns 1 and 2. And then here we see the straight between 2 and 3. Lots of incidents 2 years ago here in SRL. Carry speed well and through. You want to avoid this curve as much as you can. May have been track limits for Jensen. Of course, it's the inside white line, not the yellow line, that indicates track limits here in Australia. And then the nice, long, not quite straight, but of course full out DRS zone, and then where you can buy a lot of time here coming into turns 11 and 12. You can cut the corner of 12 quite a bit. You see Jensen does just that. Yet another tricky braking area here, 13. Does well. Drivers talking before qualifying. News that Jensen had a 116 in a practice session. That's definitely, looks like into the wall, certainly going to be an invalidation, even with that a 117. But I'm not sure he stayed on the track the whole time. Logan Oren going in front. Simon Mara, of course. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl, a bit of a moment there. Nice to see Dion Stahl in the race today. Wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it. A great race in round 1. Great strategy. Unfortunate incidents kept him from finishing as high as he should have. But really played tire management game very well. You see a bit of rain out there. Everyone eager to get a lap time in now on the softs. And we go to Max Mulder. The top 3, not much of a surprise. Randall even going wide on the last turn, and I believe made contact with the wall. Still only a 10th behind Simon Mara. Max Mulder here in the Alpine. We'll see what time he can put up. The rain is falling, so Mulder will not have the benefit that those going out early will have. We'll go on board here. We'll see if Mulder cuts this corner. Plays it a little safe. I don't blame him with the rain out there. But it looks like it will be an invalidation. You see the red on the mini-map. Not sure where Mulder went off, but I don't believe it was the corner at turn 12. Unfortunate for Mulder. Track conditions are only going to worsen from here. So a 121. We'll go to Portuguese driver Ivan Brito on the softs, but again at a significant disadvantage on his outlap. Jamie Jägerstrom coming back out. Some grass there on Ivan Brito's tires now. Gonna have to hope you can get the debris off before you start your qualifying lap. Traction already going to be an issue. Ooh. And we'll see if the weather continues into the race itself. Meanwhile, Nicolo Falzaresi, I believe, joining the lobby. And an invalidation there from Ivan Brito. And with Jamie Jägerstrom coming back out, we'll go to the Williams. Still on softs. And hard to expect any drivers able to improve at this point in qualifying. You see the track noticeably wet now compared to the start. And we go on board for a lap around Albert Park. There, turn 1 and turn 2. You want all the AstroTurf there in turn 2. And a moment here from Jamie Jägerstrom. It's all right. It's just qualifying. He does have currently Q4. The tricky turn here at turn 3. Downhill into the apex. Going to lose downforce. Uphill on the exit. Going to gain downforce. And then 6 and 7 here can also be tricky. Again, you can go wide on the exit there in normal conditions. And now 11 and 12 on the soft compound with the track this wet. We'll see what Jägerstrom can do. And playing it very safe by cutting 2 corners. I think well aware that his best lap is behind him already with the way the conditions are here now. And Logan Oren happy with his time. I don't blame him. I don't see conditions improving as Jägerstrom comes in. Koivuniemi going to get some intermediate times in. This will give us a good idea of the difference between intermediates and softs here. DRS disabled, so now the time's really going to suffer. But perhaps a bit of practice on the inners and the conditions for Koivuniemi than anything else. I like it from Koivuniemi. Get a sense of your braking zones. It's a track with a lot of incidents historically. And you want to have fresh data for all conditions here. So Koivuniemi previously 119.1. Not sure he was one of the early drivers out there, so maybe didn't have the best conditions compared to Simon Maher, Logan Oren, Jensen Randall. And on the inters, a strong driver like Koivuniemi, 124.8. So about 5 seconds difference there. Meanwhile, Nicolo Falzaresi on controller. Equipment failure, but going to tough it out. And unfortunately, late into the qualifying session. So really his only viable option to set a time on the intermediates. So a tough ask for Falzaresi here. But we'll see what he can do. And unfortunate timing as so many coming out of the pits now during his qualifying lap here. Picked up a little bit of grass there. The grass very close on this track. And of course, the more debris on the tire, the less surface area you have for grip. A little wide there, but no invalidation. And the long sweeping turn 8 here into 9 and 10. Let's see what Falzaresi can do on 11 and 12 here. How much is he willing to cut? Certainly hops that curb. This is perhaps the only lap he's going to get with the best conditions possible. The rain might still be coming. And you see the treads there, definitely deep into the grass. Has to avoid the Haas. Excuse me, the AlphaTauri. He'll come in. A tough lap for Falzaresi. Again, on controller, on intermediates. Certainly the qualifying lap on the board with the worst conditions possible. Every other time, I believe, was a soft runner. And more drivers content with their time. Logan Oren says 117.3 is as good as it's going to get for me. Jensen Randall, the 117.4, a strong 117.4, considering, again, a bit of a moment coming out of the last turn. Certainly into the grass on turn 16, and it looked like a clip of the wall, but still only a tenth back from Simon Mara, even with that. And I think the great lap from Jamie Egerstrom to be currently Q4. In his rookie season, only his second start. And he just started a lap on the inters, Jamie Egerstrom, the Danish driver. Again, expecting no improvements on the track times. Falzaresi, I think, the only one who could expect one since his time was already on inters. But you see on the inters in these conditions, Jägerstrom already 3 seconds down just through Sector 1. And Sector 2, essentially only straights, but even there, another second. So rain could be a pretty chaotic equalizer here during the race itself, if it sticks around. Already many incidents in the Season 7 race here. Turns 1 and 2 especially treacherous. And then a lot of outside wall interactions with drivers out of turn 5 during that race. Freya Belay content with the 118. Vincenzo Torre. Jesper Limpinen also content with the 118. Ivan Brito, who had the track time earlier invalidated at 129. So certainly Falzaresi, Brito, and Mulder, some jockeying for position available down there for those three. Max Mulder on the full wets now. And still a bit of a moment there, the back end coming loose. And it's again, turn 13, it is a tough braking zone, even tougher, I'm sure, with the track this wet. So Mulder will put up a time, 2 minutes. I don't think necessarily one that he's satisfied with. That might have been the outlap, even though the timing board didn't indicate as much. And that tricky turn 3 into turn 4, even tougher in these conditions. It is a high-speed track, but the turns it does have, not easy. You see there into 6 and 7, Mulder taking no risks. That is, can be at least, in normal qualifying conditions on softs, a flat-out 6 and 7. Of course, not going to be the case here in wet conditions on the wet tire. Into 13. Again, the back end a little loose. Can be tough. Yeah, it looked like he might have been going a little wide, but a good save. In around posterior turn 15. And turn 15, it is very easy to understeer in turn 15. Your tires have, again, in dry conditions, about the most temperature they're going to get. So a 133 for Mulder. So I guess a good indication here of what the soft tire can do compared to the intermediate, compared to the wet tire. You see everyone between 117 and 127 with Robin Hertzstadthagen. Those were all the soft runners. Valterezi and Brito 16 and 17 there on the intermediates. Mulder on the wet tires. And a little wing damage. So that should do it for qualifying. Dion Stahl, the only other driver on the intermediates. We'll see what Dion can do here. Again, Dion Stahl in round 1 with great tire management. Used the safety cars expertly to his advantage. And it certainly seems like we have a good chance for a safety car here today. That is it for qualifying. Simon Mara, Logan Oren, Jensen Randall, and Jamie Jägerstrom starting in the first 2 rows. And the qualifying table almost exactly the table of who got out to the track first. That first lap was the optimal one as the conditions only worsened. Sandro Dulis, Vincenzo Torre on the next row. Freya Belay, a bit surprising down in Q7. He'll have some work to do. Jesper Limpinen next to him. Alexei Koivuniemi also a bit surprised there, as that is last year's winner in Australia. Will have some work to do from P9, and Dion Stahl rounding out the top 10. Noah Smith starting P11, the reserve driver. And now we'll get to the race. So many of the corners here in Melbourne are slightly curved, slightly banked. Can be downhill entries and uphill exits. Can really affect the line you expect to take. And again, you can really test the track limits. It is that white line, not the yellow line, that your tires need to be mindful of. The curbs also, some of the curbs certainly seem to be more dangerous than others. You really want to avoid that inside curve on turn 1. Meanwhile, there are curbs like the ones around turn 4, inside curb, and 6 into 7 that you can avoid. But we're ready. We are go for the, I believe, formation lap. We still have formation lap. See the drivers warming the tires. Simon Mara yet again, starting in P1. Simone going to be on the hard tire compound. And all sorts of strategies in play here. So we'll be keeping an eye on Simone and Jensen on the hard compound. With all due respect to champions like Logan Oren, Sandro Dulis, Tim Ventink. Those two seem to have about the most pace. And you see there the strategies the game is throwing out. So we might expect some interesting things for Simone Mara and Jensen Randall around lap 15, 16. See who wants to stretch it out. Try and extend the hard compound. Meanwhile, Jamie Jägerstrom, after a blistering qualifying, we'll see if he wants to make some moves on the soft compound. Sandro Dulis behind him. Perhaps those two can work together to really extend the gap in front if they're able to make some overtakes. All right. And we'll see what the game kindly gives during the first lap as far as position changes, but we are already here. The lights about to turn on at Albert Park. Simone Mara in front. Simone Mara, Logan Oren, Jensen Randall, 4 and 5 lights. And we're away in Melbourne at Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. Simone Mara gets away clean. Defensive line going into turn 1 and 2. Already extending the lead. He is on the hard compound. Logan Oren going to be making a move, I'm sure. And Simone Mara is going to want to get away from this pack if he can, but he is on those hards, so he's going to be mindful. You can't win a race on the first lap, but you can lose it. We'll see if he gives Logan the space. Meanwhile, it looks like around turn 3, a McLaren and Freya Bly and Ivan Brito. An incident back there already. We're going to have a virtual safety car. And turn 3 claims yet another incident for an SRL race. Just seconds into the start of round 2. And we'll check for any damage on the car of Freya Bly. Wing looks okay. Onboard camera, tires seem to be fine. But of course it was the Mercedes of Ivan Brito also involved in that, and it looks like significant wing damage for Brito. So he'll be coming in. And now, I'm sure if you're Simone Mara, Jensen Randall, you start to wonder, maybe the soft compound on a race as eventful as the Australian GP is. Oh boy, but we're racing again. So unfortunate for all those who are pitting, as the virtual safety car has already ended. We are at full speed racing. Simone Mara into 6 and 7, around 8 now. Logan Oren on the softer compound. Does he go for a move here? Coming around into turn 11 and 12. He's going to slot in behind. Logan a little safe there on turn 12. Didn't cut as much as he could, but again, another tricky corner. And not a lot of true straights here at Albert Park. No easy overtakes. And around turn 16. Straight, no DRS yet. But you see P1 through P5 bunched together nicely. This should be a good race. DRS now will be enabled. So we'll see as we get into the straight or after turn 8 what Logan can do. Comes out of turn 4. Turn 5 here. And a couple downshifts. Get as much of that curve as you can onto the AstroTurf. And you wonder if Simon Mara perhaps utilizing a little bit of the ERS, really maintaining a gap here, even though he's on the hard compound. And some jumpiness from Logan Oren. I'm going to guess just some connectivity spikes. But Simon Mara doing well. Eyes ahead. And look at there, 5 teams in the first 5 positions. A nice variety of colors in the liveries there. As Simon Mara putting in a 1:21.1. Not bad with a full tank of gas and on the hard compound. Must have been pushing there a little bit on the restart. As Logan Oren, Jensen Randall, Jamie Jägerstrom, and Sandra Dulis all would have had DRS. And now we'll see again on the not quite straight. DRS open there for Logan Oren. He's been making little feints here coming into turn 11. But still nothing. Content to stay behind. On the medium compound, though. So if you're Logan Oren, I mean, you want to make that pass. You want to be able to use this tire to your advantage. Simon Mara's advantage only going to grow here as Oren's tires start to fall off a bit. And it looks like Logan going for the move should be clean and easy. Yes, indeed. So good news for Logan Oren. Actually going to have DRS too, even after the overtake. So about as good as it gets if you're Logan Oren. Good patience from him. Didn't get frustrated. Stuck behind Simon Mara for a couple laps. But saving tires, saving ERS. And now we'll see what Logan Oren wants to do to maximize his softer compound. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall also looking to make the pass on Simon Mara. Of course, Jensen Randall also on the hard compound, but has DRS. And now it is very busy into turns 11 and 12. And that's certainly a corner cut there from Simon Mara, I would believe. But you get a few warnings there. So an unusual position for Simon Mara, 2 very strong drivers ahead of him. But of course, his race not the same as Logan's. They're on different compounds. And Jamie Jägerstrom doing very well back there in P4 on the softer compound. A yellow flag into Sector 1. Believe that's Tim Vintink's Alpine. Be interesting to see Simon Mara here in P3. Not a position we've seen him in too much. So we'll see a different sort of racecraft from him as he maintains position, maybe goes for some overtakes. Manages the tire, I'm sure. The hard runners still about, I would guess, at least 9 laps from having to make any difficult decisions. DRS available there. Gets the overtake on Logan Orend. So now Logan Orend. Surely the mediums haven't fallen off this early, but the medium runner, briefly in the race lead, now overtaken by two drivers on hard compounds, and two drivers who will not be easy for Logan to overtake later, as they'll have the tire advantage, I'm sure, later in the race. Meanwhile, Sandro Dulis there you see falling out of DRS range. And we'll check the tires. He is on the soft compound. Alexei Koivuniemi on the mediums, a few seconds behind, and Vincenzo Torre a few seconds behind Alexei. Meanwhile, Freya Balai did make a pit stop for mediums himself. And as we check the penalties, 3 seconds for Jensen Randall. So he will serve that on the pit stop he will be forced to make here. Which should put him behind Sandro Dulis as the intervals currently stand. Jensen Randall taking that turn 12 corner expertly. It's such a short cut that I believe you don't actually ever have all four tires out of track limits. And a great shot here. Three of the strongest drivers in SRL. And the young rookie, Jamie Jägerstrom, just behind them in the blue of the Williams. Lots of action at the top of the grid here. All the battling between Randall, Mara, and Orend certainly helping Jägerstrom stay with them. And the Danish driver doing well. Within the distance on the soft compound to take advantage of any mistakes these three might make while increasing the gap to Sandro Dulis, also on the soft compound. And again, I think that was Logan Orend taking turn 12 about as well as you can that time. Can unsettle the car, but it can save you a few tenths too. Meanwhile, Jamie Jägerstrom has increased the gap to Sandro Dulis to 2 seconds. Meanwhile, it looks like Senna Hervire and Freya Balai. A little moment there in Sector 1, a brief yellow flag. It is now green. But as you can see on the minimap, our runners in the front of the pack catching up to them as they're only into turn 6 and 7 now. Our front runners approaching turn 3. Of course, another safety car can eliminate a lot of these intervals. And great driving there from the runners P1 through P3. As you saw Logan Orend right into the diffuser of Simon Mara, who is doing the same to Jensen Randall. And the gaps have been close the entire race up here at the top. And Logan Orend on the medium compound. Again, he's on the medium. Jamie Jägerstrom on the soft. Meanwhile, P1 and P2, those are on hard compounds. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jensen Randall and Simon Mara start to pull away. Certainly from Jägerstrom, but he is getting that DRS toe. But Logan Orend, you see, I think, falling behind a little bit as the mediums start to lose a little grip. Jensen Randall, meanwhile, picked up another 3-second penalty, so he's going to be really behind the 8 ball once he makes his stop. I'm sure Randall hoping for another safety car at this point, but the gaps have been increasing so much that it would really take a significant driver error, perhaps in isolation from other drivers, for another safety car as it is right now. In this battle at the top, it is another overtake there. It looked like Simone Mara, I don't know if Logan Oren had briefly gotten ahead, but a defensive line there from Simone Mara to keep Logan Oren behind him. Logan again sniffing around looking for an opening. I like Jamie Egerstrom. Staying clean, letting these three battle, taking advantage of that. And there's the safety car. Nothing immediately obvious on the mini-map for what might be happening. Senna Hervire's car looks okay. No damage on Freya Belay. Jesper Limpinen, I don't see anything, but there it is. Nick Van Gelder. Looks like wing damage. And we'll get a virtual safety car. So lap 10, I imagine Logan Oren, something to think about. Jamie Egerstrom and Sandro Dulis, I think, for those two, almost certainly going to be going on the soft compound, as Noah Smith, in his first race in SRL, getting the speeding in the pit lane. Of course, he wasn't in round 1 with SRL this year, and we do have that as a new rule. No more automatic pit lane entries and exits. And more speeding in the pit lane penalties. I think these VSCs really kind of ending quickly. Really altering the pit strategy. As you see, the frontrunners never really even passed the pit lane while under VSC. As you see Van Gelder coming out, having the wing repaired. And Senna Hervire also coming out. And that caution only present as Hervire was making way to those in the lead lap here. Meanwhile, I'll go back to Simone Mara. Jamie Egerstrom on the softs, starting to fall out of DRS. So the front three will continue to pull away. DRS enabled for Mara and Oren still. But I think Simone Mara, understanding he and Jensen on similar strategies, they can work together, build as much of an interval as possible, as the softer compounds should be pitting shortly. Don't want to get undercut. And another virtual safety car. So technically 3. And did Jamie Egerstrom pit? He did. So good timing on this VSC for Egerstrom. And we can take this opportunity to check lap times. Jamie Egerstrom actually with the fastest lap, the 1:21.1. And you see the penalties there. Jensen Randall, once he makes this stop, he will be at least P3, and I should think with this VSC, Jamie Egerstrom can catch back up to the lead pack. Sandro Dulis also going to be able to. So while the VSC's good for tire strategy, with these penalties, as the intervals start to be eliminated, they can come into more play here. It looks like VSC ended, DRS enabled again. Jägerstrom not able to make up the full gap, about a pit stop behind there, you see, but did come out just in front of Sandro Dulis. Little wide there for Jensen Randall, but maintaining well. So Jamie Jägerstrom on the pit stop already in P4. And we can check. It is our top three who have yet to stop. Robin Hertzstadthagen in P7 not yet to stop. Nicolo Falzaresi no stop either. So good positioning for Jägerstrom. Did start in the soft compound, so not quite the same race, but we'll see where the top three come out, as Jägerstrom did have the benefit of pitting under VSC and getting out just in front of Sandro Dulis. And of course, Jensen Randall going to have to serve that penalty on his next stop. Into the turn 13, the McLaren of Freya Balai, I believe, in front of them. He'll have to make way. Also, Nick Van Gelder should be on the straight once Randall, Mara, and Oren come along. Meanwhile, we'll check with Sandro Dulis chasing down Jamie Jägerstrom. You see there Dulis going from soft to medium. I imagine Jägerstrom also to the medium. Yes, as he just sets yet again the fastest lap. 129. And Alexei Koivuniemi on the hards. 128. So as the fuel load decreases and the track evolution continues, faster and faster times, even on harder compounds. Koivuniemi going to be looking to make up that time. Currently 5 seconds behind Dulis. But his tires should go the rest of the way. Meanwhile, Dulis and Jägerstrom on the mediums. They will have to extend quite a bit on the medium tire. Here we go into 11 and 12. Both drivers playing it safe. Don't want to unsettle the car. Still plenty of track left, and Dulis making the move into turn 13 on Jamie Jägerstrom. Nice move there from Sandro Dulis. Can be a difficult braking point on turn 13, but expertly done. Clean as a whistle. And that gap increasing. Jägerstrom will have DRS here. How about that? Fastest lap for Sandro Dulis. Benefit of DRS, gets the overtake done. Fresh tires. And we'll check elsewhere. Dion Stahl, the other Ferrari driver. Nicolo Falzaresi right behind him. On the hard compound, Dion Stahl on the medium. And as you see there, Falzaresi will pit, so plenty of clean air in front and behind Dion Stahl now. As you see here, our top three again. Ducking into the pits is Simo and Mara. So now we'll see also Logan Oren pitting. We'll see what Jensen Randall can do here on the hard, going at least one lap further. He's going to have to push here. We'll see what he can do. Going to have some traffic in front of him, potentially. As Sandro Dulis just obliterates the fastest lap on the medium compound. That's perhaps a good half second increase over the ones that we saw just set before. And we'll see what Jensen does here coming into 11 and 12. Certainly needs to get out ahead on his pit stop of Simon Mara and Logan Oren. Cutting as much as he can there. Well done. So Randall in P1, yet to pit. The drivers to look out for after he pits: Simon Mara in P4, Logan Oren in P5. And it is Jensen Randall going for the pit. So now we'll go to Simon Mara, who went to the medium. Logan Oren on the softs. So a medium soft strategy from Logan Oren. Hard and medium strategy for both Randall and Simon Mara. Here comes Simon Mara. Randall, you see there at the exit. And is the undercut on for Simon Mara? It is. Simon Mara ahead. Jensen Randall coming out just in front of Logan Oren. Logan Oren going to have the soft tire. He'll have to extend them a little bit. But nicely done from Simon Mara. Expertly undercut. And how about a purple sector to boot? Meanwhile, Logan Oren, the penalty, 4 track limits. And at this point, with the penalties, Simon Mara, I think, the clear favorite to go 6 for 6. Of course, we've already seen a few VSCs. No one is immune from penalties. But Simon Mara looking good. Clean driving. Seems like the optimal pit strategy. Getting the DRS from Sandro Dulis. Younger tires. A nice easy pass with the assistance of DRS. And now Jamie Jägerström. In P1 on the medium tires. Simon Mara, much newer medium tires. Jägerström, a good race for the Danish rookie. Don't look too closely into the rear view mirror there. Don't be pressured by Simon Mara as he is really bearing down now, coming into 11 and 12. Goes to the outside. Jägerström not fighting that one. I don't blame him. So Simon Mara taking his place here at P1. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall and Logan Oren still P4, P5. So Simon Mara only going to continue to build the gap. So expertly done in lap and out lap for Simon Mara. Gets the undercut. The traffic really helping him out here as he's already pulling away from Jägerström. Jägerström has DRS for this straight. And Logan Oren here trying to make the move on Sandro Dulis. Yes, gets the inside line. And gets it done. Newer compound for Logan, of course, on the softs as well. So Simon Mara now a 2.5 seconds on Jamie Jägerström. Jensen Randall making the move on Jamie Jägerström on the straight. And Jensen Randall very much pushing that gap, decreasing quickly to Simon Mara. An OS safety car A true safety car here. So now, yes, dipping immediately Simon Mara, Jensen Randall. Only Logan Oren staying out there among the top. You see pit lane very busy there. And we'll check the tire compounds. Simon Mara going to soft, Jensen Randall soft, Jamie Egerstrom soft, Sandro Dooley soft. These should get them to the end of the race easily. Logan Oren, meanwhile, on 4-lap-old softs. 10 laps to go. Of course, a couple of those will be under safety car. But you have to imagine that Logan Oren's soft tires will be screaming by the end. Meanwhile, you see the McLaren behind Logan Oren. I wonder, is he going to try to... No, okay, staying back. No unlapping under safety car. I'm sure Logan Oren appreciates as many bodies between him and Jensen Randall and Simon Mara and Jamie Egerstrom and Sandro Dulis. And Koivu Niemi also the beneficiary of the safety cars. At one point, many seconds behind the front of the pack. But now I think Koivu Niemi a real threat here for a podium. Last year's winner at Australia. Great result last week in Bahrain. A very strong top of the grid here. Safety car for another lap. You see only Logan Oren, only Nicolo Falzaresi not pitting. We'll see how this affects Oren's finale to the race. Of course, if there's another safety car, he could be well positioned. And it's the McLaren of Freya Belay, I believe. In P2 behind the safety car, but of course P15 on the timing table. Unfortunate race for Belay. An incident early on. Had to make multiple pit stops. Strong race in round one at Bahrain. A little lag spike on one of the final laps. Really compromising his race. I believe finished P4. And as some of the grid here you see still needing to catch up, the Mercedes, Vincenzo Torre, Ivan Brito making their way around now. Jesper Limpinen in the AlphaTauri about to catch up as well. Nicolo Falzaresi here in the Alfa Romeo. Robin Hertzstadhagen, the other McLaren, catching up to the queue. Dion Stahl, P9. Noah Smith, the reserve driver in the Haas, does have that pit lane infringement. Max Mulder in the Alpine, Koivu Niemi, Sandro Dulis, Jamie Egerstrom. And again at the top, it is Logan Oren. We'll take a look at those penalties. Logan Oren, the 3-second penalty. Jensen Randall, the 6-second penalty. So again, Simon Mara on fresh softs, I think well positioned here to go 6 for 6. Jamie Egerstrom in a pretty good spot himself for a podium finish. And Dulis and Koivuniemi, I think, as well, with those penalties. So even without another safety car, it should be an exciting finish. Lots still here to race for. You could see someone like Max Mulder jump a couple spots at least with the penalties in front of him. Lots of action in front of him. And everyone is caught up to the queue. Safety car will be in this lap. It'll be up to Logan Oren to let us know when we are driving full speed again. Freya Belay, of course, will have to make way for runners on the lead lap. Currently slotted in just behind Logan Oren. And we'll join Logan as he gets everything up to speed. As he approaches turn 14 here. Full battery for Logan. Okay, and it's up to him. We'll go on board Simon Mara. Looks like Logan's opened it up. He has. Freya Belay making way for the drivers in the lead lap. And a caution, but I believe that's just Belay allowing lead runners to get by. Meanwhile, the four we've seen at the top the whole race. Logan Oren, Mara, Randall, Jägerström, Koivuniemi's already made the pass, pardon me, on Sandro Dulis. So in these last 6 laps, be very curious to see what Koivuniemi can do. But these 4, it's been a battle all race. Maybe even some jockeying elbows out there among the top 3. This will be a good angle as they come in. And the top 3 drivers all taking that aggressively into turn 12. Jägerström, as he's been doing in P4, a little more conservative, content to let these 3 battle it out. And certainly if you're Jägerström, you know the 2 drivers directly in front of you have penalties. You're looking at a podium finish right now. No need to take any risks. Purple sector 3 there for Simon Mara. And Simon Mara and Jensen Randall with the early overtakes on Logan Oren on the restart. Meanwhile, Jägerström looking to make his way around Oren. And everyone around Oren on much fresher soft tires. The only lead runner to not pit on the last safety car. Koivuniemi breathing down the neck of Jägerström himself. So another 3-car battle with an Aston Martin involved. Jägerström makes the pass on Logan Oren. So what a race for the rookie driver. Of course, you see the light flashing out of overtake. Below 10% on the ERS, so he did cash out. But perhaps a good gamble, knowing he's got fresher tires than Logan Oren. DRS now enabled. Jägerström 2.5 seconds behind Jensen Randall. Not going to have the benefit of DRS this lap. So his ERS, it will take some time to build back up. Meanwhile, Logan Oren and Alexei Koivuniemi going to be able to maintain their battery well. As it stands now, Jägerström would be P2 based on penalties. Koivuniemi would be P3. Meanwhile, it's Jensen Randall getting the overtake. Coming into turn 11 on Simo and Mara. 6-second penalty, though, so a lot of time to make up for Jensen Randall. Not sure he's got the real estate to do it here, as we have just under 4 laps. Logan Orend and Jamie Jägerstrom continue to swap positions, and we've got a bunch of cars here coming into turn 14. Not a place you really want to have this much accident, and a little contact back there between, I believe that's Noah Smith and Max Mulder. You see Koivuniemi and Jägerstrom both flashing, really battling. Koivuniemi now in a podium spot, and with the penalty to Jensen Randall, he would be P2. And Jägerstrom might just be P3, but the 5 seconds between Koivuniemi and Mara might be doing Jensen Randall some favors there, as there is a huge battle here for P3 that only benefits Jensen Randall. Sandro Dulis looking well equipped here. Looks to have much more ERS than those two directly in front of him. 3 wide. And Sandro Dulis forced to go off track. No positions gained, but is going to lose some momentum. And Noah Smith now right behind him, as we have quite a battle here just behind Jensen Randall and Simo and Mara. And again, Jensen Randall loving this. His podium looking more secured even with the 6-second penalty, as there's a lot of battling going on behind him. Dulis trying to go up the inside on Jägerstrom. Will he get it done? Yes! Jägerstrom going just wide. Now the dirty tires. Good driving there from Jägerstrom. Didn't lose his cool, but tires. That's an unfortunate penalty to Jägerstrom. Hard to feel like he was doing the best he could to stay on track. And meanwhile, with all this battling, the gap between Mara and Koivuniemi has just increased to 7.5 seconds. So Noah Smith up into P5, 3-second penalty. Jamie Jägerstrom now with a 6-second penalty. Really unfortunate. Not sure what he could do there. But Dulis keeping his cool. Looks like it'll be a P4 finish for him unless something happens in front of him. And we go into the final lap. So Jensen Randall, you see the top of the table now, but a 6-second penalty. So it certainly is looking like Simo and Mara, 6 for 6. Some rumors we brought in a ringer and Jensen Randall, multiple-time SRL champion, to dethrone the young Italian. But it doesn't look to be the case today. As we get into turn 8, coming into turn 9 and 10, just a few more to go. And Simo and Mara, another masterclass. Keeping it safe. Well, I was saying as much, but I wonder if Simo and Mara knows that Jensen Randall has a significant penalty ahead of him. He wants to leave no doubt, it looks like. He wants to finish that line first and finish P1. But as we come into turns 15 and 16, Jensen Randall might finish the crossing line first, but it's Simo and Mara. 6 starts in SRL, 6 victories. And well done for him. Sandro Dulis coming around as well. Jensen Randall had enough of a gap that he'll finish P2. Dulis also on the podium. Koivuniemi, last year's winner, P4. Noah Smith there in P5. Jamie Jägerstrom, the unfortunate penalties, continuing to drop down on the grid. But Noah Smith, Max Mulder, Dion Stahl, who made up quite a bit of room out there. Logan Arndt, a rough few restarts after the safety car in P8. Jesper Limpinen finishing out the top 10. Robin Hertzschadhagen 11. Nicolo Falzaresi on the controller, P12. Ivan Brito, the Portuguese driver. 15-second penalty. Freya Balai, a rough day at the office. Nick Van Gelder still to finish. But in round 3 at Qatar, on a Max Verstappen like level of dominance here, Simo and Mara, how many in a row can he win? The gap at the top of the driver standings only continuing to grow. In round 1, it was Simon Mara, Logan Orend, Alexei Koivuniemi. Simon Mara finishing well above Logan Orend. Koivuniemi, a good day. But Simon Mara, yet again, 6 for 6. Another win for him in SRL, round 2. And that will do it for the Australian Grand Prix. A few VSCs, 1 safety car. Simon Mara going to the soft compound there on lap 21 with that safety car. Paying off well on the restart. With him on the podium, Jensen Randall. Sandro Dulis of the Ferrari. And that will do it for SRL Round 2. Join us next Saturday, October 7th, for the Qatar Grand Prix. I've been Bryan Kessler. It's been a fun race, and we will catch you then. You can find this stream on the SRL YouTube channel along with a race recap in a few days, and the Instagram for the SRL League. Look for us soon, and we'll see you next week.